Hey Reddit, I'm Ava, 32, and I made the mistake of helping my younger sister when she needed me the most. For context, my sister Rachel, 27, has always been the type to take more than she gives. We weren't super close growing up, but I always tried to be the responsible one, the sister who helped, the one who made sure the family stayed together. Big mistake. Last year, Rachel lost her job, not because of bad luck, but because she's lazy as hell. She called me, crying about how she couldn't afford rent and was about to be evicted. She had no money, no plan, and, surprise, surprise, no savings. I felt bad for her. So, against my better judgment, I let her move into my apartment. Rent-free, no bills, just a temporary stay until she got back on her feet. I wasn't expecting her to be a perfect roommate. I knew Rachel wasn't exactly the most responsible person, but I didn't expect her to treat me like her personal maid. From the second she moved in, she did nothing. I'd come home from work to find her still in her pajamas, scrolling through her phone, surrounded by dirty dishes she never bothered to clean. She never cooked. She never contributed to groceries. She never lifted a finger. I paid for everything. And when I finally confronted her about it, she just rolled her eyes. Relax, Ava. I'll start helping soon. She never did. And then, after months of mooching off me, Rachel met a guy. Jake, 29. At first, I was happy for her. She finally had some motivation to get her life together. She started leaving the apartment more, dressing up, talking about the future. And then, one night, she came home beaming. She held out her hand, flashing a brand new engagement ring. "We're getting married," she squealed. I blinked. "Wait, what?" She laughed. "I know it's crazy, but Jake and I just click. We don't want to waste any time. We're already looking at apartments together." I stared at her, my stomach twisting. Apartments? I had been paying for her life for months, and now she was moving out with some guy? I exhaled slowly, forcing a smile. "That's great, Rachel. So, when are you planning to move?" She waved a hand. "Oh, I don't know yet. We're still figuring things out." Translation: she had no plan. And then, 2 weeks later, she did something that made my blood boil. She blocked me. Just like that. No warning. No thank you. Nothing. She packed her bags while I was at work, took her things, and ghosted me. And when I finally tracked her down, she acted like I didn't exist. That was her biggest mistake. Because if she thought she could just use me and walk away, she had another thing coming. Rachel didn't call back. But I knew this wasn't over. She wasn't the type to take responsibility for anything. She was the type to blame everyone else for her problems. So I wasn't surprised when, a few hours later, my mom called. I sighed, already bracing myself for the guilt trip. "Mom." I answered, my voice flat. She didn't waste any time. "Ava, what did you do?" I let out a short laugh. "Oh, so Rachel ran straight to you? Did she mention how she blocked me and used me for months before disappearing?" Mom ignored that. "She and Jake have nowhere to go." I roll my eyes. Maybe they should have thought about that before lying on their apartment application. "You went out of your way to sabotage them," she snapped. I leaned back in my chair. "No, Mom. I just made sure the truth came out. If Jake actually made enough money to afford that place, they wouldn't have been denied. That's not my fault." Mom huffed. "She's your sister, Ava." "No," I corrected. "She's an ungrateful leech. She's family." I clenched my jaw. Funny how you only say that when it benefits her. When I was the one paying her rent, did you ever remind her that I was family? Did you ever tell her to be grateful? Silence. I laughed. "Yeah, didn't think so." Mom let out a long sigh. "She made a mistake. You didn't have to be so cruel." I snorted. "Cruel? Mom, she used me for a year. She treated me like a free hotel. And the second she found someone else to take care of her, she disappeared. And I'm the cruel one." Mom sighed again. "Ava, you know how Rachel is." I narrow my eyes. "Exactly. And I'm done enabling it." Mom started to say something else, but I hung up. I was so tired of being expected to clean up Rachel's messes. This time, she could deal with it on her own. A few days passed, and I didn't hear from Rachel. But then, I got a text from Jake. I blinked at my screen. Of all people, I wasn't expecting him to reach out. "Jake, hey, can we talk?" I debated ignoring him, but curiosity won. "Me about what?" "Jake, Rachel, and the apartment. I just want to clear things up." I sighed. "Fine. I told him to meet me at a coffee shop near my office. When I walked in, he was already there, looking stressed as hell. I sat across from him, crossing my arms. So, he rubbed his face. Look, I know Rachel and I didn't leave on the best terms with you. But I had no idea she blocked you like that. She told me you guys just weren't close. I raised an eyebrow. She lied. Shocking. He let out a bitter laugh. Yeah, I'm realizing that now. I tilted my head. So what do you want from me? He exhaled. I just want to know, did you actually tell the landlord to look into my income? I smirked. No, I just asked some questions. He groaned. Jesus. I shrugged. Hey, if you actually made enough money, that wouldn't have mattered. He sighed, shaking his head. Yeah, well, I didn't. Rachel knew that, but she kept pushing me to get the place anyway. I blinked. Wait, she was the one pushing for that apartment. Jake nodded. She wanted something fancy. Kept saying it was our fresh start and that we deserved it. Even when I told her it was too much, I let out a short laugh. Sound about right. Jake rubbed his temples. And now we're screwed. We lost our deposit. We have nowhere to go. I stared at him. So what are you asking? You want me to let Rachel move back in? He shook his head. No. Honestly, I don't even know if I want to stay with her anymore. I blinked. Oh, he sighed. This whole thing made me realize I don't actually know her. She makes everything sound like someone else's fault. She acts like she's a victim, but now I'm starting to wonder if she just uses people. I gave him a slow clap. Congratulations. You figured it out. He chuckled, but it sounded tired. I tilted my head. So what's your plan? He exhaled. I don't know yet. I need time to think. I leaned back. Well, good luck with that. Jake gave me a long look. For what it's worth, I think you were right about her. I raised an eyebrow. I know I was right. He laughed. Fair enough. And just like that, I knew Rachel's perfect little life was about to come crashing down. The next day, I got a text from Rachel. Rachel, you're a snake. I hope you're happy. I smirked. She was finally losing control. And honestly, I'd never felt better. I don't think I've ever felt rage like that before. I wasn't just mad that Rachel had moved out without so much as a thank you. I was mad that she had the audacity to block me like I was some disposable ATM she no longer needed. I had fed her, housed her, paid her bills, and the second she didn't need me anymore, poof, gone. I wasn't going to let it slide. I started with our mom. I called her up, already expecting to hear her defend Rachel like she always did. Hey, Mom, did you know Rachel moved out? Mom hesitated. Oh, honey, she was just so excited about starting her new life with Jake. She didn't want any drama. I let out a sharp laugh. Oh, so completely ghosting the person who kept her from being homeless isn't drama? Mom sighed. Ava, don't make this a big deal. That sentence set me off. Mom, I housed her for free for almost a year. She didn't pay for groceries. She didn't contribute. She didn't do anything. Then she blocks me the second she gets engaged? And I'm not supposed to be mad. I'm sure she meant to explain. Then why didn't she? I snapped. She didn't even tell me where she moved. She just left. Silence. Then, finally, my mom said, I think she and Jake moved into that new apartment complex near downtown. You should be happy for her. I bit my tongue so hard I almost tasted blood. Happy? I was about to ruin her life. That night, I did some digging. It wasn't hard. I found Jake's LinkedIn in under 5 minutes. He worked in finance, but not the good kind, the sketchy, just making ends meet kind. Then I checked apartment listings for the building they had moved into. And guess what? That place was expensive. Like, way out of his budget expensive. Rachel, of course, had no money, which meant Jake was paying for everything. Or at least, he thought he could. I smirked, because I knew exactly how to make sure that wasn't the case anymore. The next morning, I made a phone call. Jake and Rachel had put down a deposit, but their lease hadn't officially started yet. I knew from experience that most landlords run a final income verification before the lease kicks in. So I called the leasing office. I put on my sweetest voice. Hi, I was wondering about your income requirements for the apartments. I have a friend who's about to move in, and I just want to make sure he can actually afford it. I'd hate for him to get stuck in a bad situation. The woman on the phone hesitated. Well, we do have strict guidelines. Every tenant needs to make at least 3 times the monthly rent in verifiable income. I grinned. Oh, so like no under-the-table stuff, right? She laughed. Exactly. We verify everything. I knew for a fact that Jake had lied on his application. He had inflated his salary, probably thinking they wouldn't check too hard. But now, they definitely would. 2 days later, Rachel called me. I almost didn't answer. But then I thought, no, I want to hear this meltdown in real time. I picked up. The second I said hello, she exploded. What the hell did you do? I smirked. Rachel, wow, it's been so long. I thought you blocked me. She ignored that. Jake just got a call from the leasing office. They said they're denying our lease because his income verification didn't check out. I gasped. Wow, that's terrible. I wonder how they figured that out. She screamed. You did this on purpose. I laughed. Rachel, maybe you should have thought about all this before screwing me over. She was seething. Jake is furious. We already gave notice at our old place. We have nowhere to go now. I leaned back in my chair, enjoying every second of this. Damn, that sucks, I said casually. Guess you'll have to find someone else to mooch off of. She hung up on me, and I had never felt more satisfied, because karma had finally come knocking. And Rachel? She had nowhere left to hide. Rachel's text wasn't surprising. What was surprising was how fast everything was falling apart for her. After my little conversation with Jake, I knew their relationship was on the verge of collapse, but I didn't think it would happen this quickly. Less than 24 hours later, my phone started blowing up. Not just from Rachel, but from our mom. And that's when I knew something big had happened. I didn't respond right away. I let them stew for a few hours while I went about my day, enjoying my peace. Then, finally, when I had some free time, I opened the messages. Mom, Ava, please call me. This is serious. Rachel, I hope you're happy. Jake left. I let out a small laugh. Of course, she was blaming me. As if I was the one who forced her to lie about rent. As if I was the one who made her mooch off people for years. This was all her own doing. I figured I'd give Mom the benefit of the doubt and called her first. She picked up immediately. Ava, thank God. Have you talked to Rachel? Nope. I sipped my coffee. But I'm guessing Jake finally dumped her? Mom let out a heavy sigh. Yes. He left last night. I grinned. Wow, that was fast. Ava, Mom scolded as if I was supposed to feel bad. I didn't. She continued. She's devastated. She said Jake told her he needed space to think and just left. He packed a bag and is staying with a friend. I smirked. Jake, you might not be as dumb as I thought. Mom kept talking. She doesn't know what to do. She has no job, no apartment, no savings. I cut her off. Sounds like a Rachel problem. Mom sighed louder. Ava, she needs help. I told her she should call you. I laughed. Actually laughed. Oh, so after blocking me and treating me like a disposable wallet, she suddenly remembers I exist? Mom's voice got sharper. She's your sister. I roll my eyes. And? What exactly do you expect me to do, Mom? Let her move back in? Pay for her life again? I just thought you'd have some compassion. I snorted. She didn't have any for me. She made a mistake. I clenched my jaw. No, Mom. A mistake is forgetting someone's birthday. What Rachel did was calculated. She used me. She ghosted me. And now that her fiancé wised up and left, she suddenly wants me to clean up the mess? Silence. I could tell Mom wanted to argue, but she knew I was right. So instead, she went for the guilt trip. If you don't help her, where is she supposed to go? I shrugged. Again, not my problem. Maybe she should try using her own resources for once. Ava. No, Mom. I'm done. You can keep enabling her, but I'm out. And then, I hung up. For the first time in years, I put myself first. And it felt amazing. A few hours later, Rachel called. I almost didn't answer. But then I thought, no, I want to hear her squirm. I picked up. Hello. Silence. Then, in the most pathetic voice I've ever heard, she said, Ava, I need your help. I smirked. Wow, look who finally unblocked me. She exhaled sharply. I know. I screwed up, okay. I stayed quiet. Let her sit in it. She took a deep breath. Jake's gone. I don't have anywhere to go. I don't know what to do. I leaned back, crossing my legs. Sucks to be you. She let out a frustrated groan. Ava, please. I just need a place to stay. Just for a little while. Until I get a job. I laughed. You've been saying that for years. Just for a little while. Until I get a job. And every single time, You just take and take and take. She snapped. I don't have any other options. Not my problem, I said sweetly. Ava, come on. Nope. Her voice turned desperate. You're really just going to let me be homeless? I smirked. You weren't worried about that when you blocked me. Silence. Then, finally in a cold, sharp voice, she said, You're a real bitch, you know that? I grinned. And yet, you're still begging me for help. She hung up on me. I put my phone down and stretched, feeling lighter than I had in years. Rachel was finally getting what she deserved. And I was finally free. Rachel didn't call back after that. And honestly, I didn't care. For the first time in years, I wasn't spending my energy cleaning up her messes. I wasn't funding her lifestyle. I wasn't her personal safety net. I was free. But of course, Rachel wasn't done with her victim act. A few days later, my mom called again. I ignored it. Then she sent a text. Mom, Rachel moved in with me. She's really struggling. Ava? I roll my eyes. Of course, she moved in with Mom. Rachel always had somewhere to go. She always had someone who would feel bad for her and let her mooch off them. If it wasn't me, it was Mom. I didn't reply. But then, a few hours later, Jay called. That one made me pause. I debated ignoring it. But my curiosity got the best of me. I picked up. Hello. Jake sighed. Hey, Ava. I smirked. So, you finally escaped. He let out a tired chuckle. Yeah, I did. I leaned back, sipping my coffee. What happened? He sighed again. After the apartment thing, I started noticing a lot of things. Things I ignored before. Rachel kept blaming everyone else for her problems. She had no real plan. She expected me to take care of everything. And when I told her I was struggling, he paused. She didn't care. I nodded. Sound about right. I realized I was next. First, she drained you. Then she latched onto me. And once she ran out of options, he laughed, but there was no humor in it. She started talking about having a baby. I nearly choked. What? She said if we had a kid, it would be easier to settle down. That maybe her parents would help us more. That I'd have more motivation to work harder. My jaw dropped. So let me get this straight, I said. She wanted to trap you with a baby so she could keep mooching? Pretty much. I whistled. Damn, you dodged a bullet. He let out a breath of relief. Yeah, I did. I grinned. So what now? He hesitated. I don't know. I feel like an idiot. I ignored so many red flags. I shrugged. We've all been there. He chuckled. Yeah, but I'm done being used. Thanks for, opening my eyes, I guess. I smirked. You're welcome. Then, just as we were about to hang up, he said, By the way, I don't think she's done with you. I raised an eyebrow. What do you mean? She's been ranting about you to your mom, saying you ruined her life and owe her. I laughed. I don't owe her a damn thing. Yeah, well, just a heads up. I roll my eyes. Let her try. She's not getting anything from me. We hung up, and for the first time, I felt 100% sure of my decision. Rachel lasted 3 weeks at my mom's house. Then, Mom called me in a panic. Ava, Rachel is talking about moving back in with you. I burst out laughing. Oh, is she? I told her you wouldn't go for it, but she keeps saying she just needs a little time to get back on her feet. I snorted. She's been saying that for years. I know, Mom admitted. And honestly, I don't think I can take much more of this. She's not looking for a job. She just complains all day. She expects me to cook for her. She's exhausting. I raised an eyebrow. Wow, sounds familiar. Mom sighed. Ava, I get it now. I really do. I blinked. Wait, did you just say you get it? She groaned. Don't rub it in. I grinned. Oh, I'm absolutely going to rub it in. She let out a small laugh. Fair enough. There was a long pause. Then Mom said something that actually surprised me. I told her she needs to figure things out on her own. I'm not letting her mooch off me forever. I blinked. Wait, are you setting a boundary? Mom sighed. I guess I am. I smirked. Well, damn. It only took a lifetime. She chuckled. Shut up. I shook my head, still smiling. So what's Rachel going to do? Mom sighed. Who knows? But it's not our problem anymore. I exhaled, feeling lighter than I ever had before. No, I said. It's really not. Rachel burned every bridge she had. Mom kicked her out after a month. She tried bouncing between friends, but nobody wanted to deal with her. And me? I never looked back. For the first time in years, my apartment was mine. My life was mine. And Rachel? She finally had to face the one thing she had been avoiding her entire life. Herself.